Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Gayle Carson. Welcome to Living Regret Free, a program that shows you how to live a better and more joyful life. As an added bonus, I invite you to listen to an introduction to my Mindset Matters program, which ties into this so well. Go to www.sobmindset.com. It's free, and I know you will enjoy it. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at gaylecarson13@gmail.com or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter. Hi, everybody. This is Gayle Carson, and I have a terrific guest with me today. Her name is Dr. Kyrin Dunston. She is an OBGYN, and leading by example, she lost a life-changing 100 pounds and healed herself from chronic disease by addressing the root causes of her overweight and dysfunction. This personal transformation, in turn, caused a professional one, and she left OBGYN practice back in 2011 to pursue helping women heal with this revolutionary type of natural medicine after becoming fellowship trained in anti-aging, metabolic, and functional medicine. Her book, Cracking the Bikini Code, 6 Secrets to Permanent Weight Loss Success, brought her in-office natural weight and health restoration program to women everywhere. The virtual bootcamp program based on the book launched shortly after that and offers hands-on guidance by her from remote locations so women can use these tools to heal and move towards brilliant health. Well, welcome, Dr. Dunston, and I'm going to call you Kyrin, if that's all right.
Sure. Thank you so much, Gayle. It's good to be here.
Well, I think you're doing marvelous work, and the fact that you said to yourself, this is something I must do, and I must get through it, and then to turn that into something that you can help other women with, I think is fabulous. So when we talk about, all the things that are going on in the world right now, which people are talking, this is very interesting, because people are talking about the fact that they're staying home and eating more because they're not doing the things that they're normally doing. So I have to say, I thought I was being a little bit unique, but when I told my son what I was doing, he said, Mom, this is what you do every day. You haven't changed anything. I get up, I work out. I only work out for an hour now because I used to work out for 2 hours, but I was doing classes and so forth. So it was a little bit different, but now I can't go to classes, so I'm just doing my own personal workout. But what is your best advice for how to live regret-free, especially in the times that we're in right now?
Right. And it is a little disconcerting for a lot of people to be out of their routines and stick with working out when gyms are closed and things like that. So one of the tips I give people is to really try to create a new routine for yourself and stick with it. And then in terms of living regret-free is kind of control what you can. And this applies to this current culture or climate also. Control what you can and have faith in the rest. I really find that in life, accepting what is, reaching for more, and having hope that things will improve and be better is a great topic to discuss when it comes to living regret-free, but also forgiving yourself and others, I think really is at the root of not having regrets, just accepting things as they are and forgiving people for being the way they are and yourself, because we're all doing the best we can at any given moment.
So we talked about, your personal journey, and that's kind of helped you get to where you are in terms of how you advise and what you do. And of course, this new line of study that you went into. And that kind of interests me as well, because the things that you went back to learn, that we talked about, the anti-aging and the metabolic and functional medicine, why wouldn't that be taught in an OBGYN program? I mean, you're working with women, you're working with health, you're working with getting them to their best. So why would this be something that was separate from that?
That's a great question. That's the $1 million question, Gayle. Here I was certified by the American Board of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, saying that I knew more about women's health than anybody else pretty much in the world. And I weighed 243 pounds. I had chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia. I was on multiple pharmacologic medications, and I was miserable. I was living on the planet and putting one foot in front of the other and breathing in and out, but I wasn't really living. I was just surviving. And I thought, what is wrong with me? I know more about women's health than anyone else, and I can't figure out what's wrong, and I can't fix it. And then I noticed in my patients who were middle-aged women having these same problems, that I wasn't able to fix them. And yet I was doing what I was taught as an OBGYN resident. If they have this problem, give these birth control pills. Can't sleep, give this sleeping pill. So basically I was doing drug for symptom control, pill for every ill. And if that doesn't work, surgery. But what I was realizing is this wasn't creating health or vitality for any of my patients, and it wasn't for me either. And so it wasn't until one of my patients who was struggling with these same problems, fatigue, and maybe your listeners can relate, fatigue, difficulty sleeping, weight gain, low sex drive, poor concentration, irritability. So sometimes the symptoms can be that mild, or they can be more severe, and you can actually be on prescription medications and have diagnoses like diabetes, hypertension, depression, things like that. And she went away. I did my standard, here are birth control pills, here's a sleep pill, here's an antidepressant. And she wasn't really getting better, and came back a year later, and she looked like a new person. And I saw her at the end of the hall, and I thought, oh my gosh, she looks totally new. So I asked her what she had done, and she said, well, I went to this doctor who practices something called functional medicine, which I had never heard of. And so I immediately started researching, and it was interesting because I had been taught in my residency how to treat health problems that women have, how to deliver babies, how to do hysterectomies. But I was basically told to stop thinking about how the body works, the biochemistry and the physiology that I had spent 4 years diving into in medical school and learned all the intricacies about how the body works. Well, when I learned about functional medicine, it immediately resonated with me because it harkened back to the way the body works. And so when you're talking about illness or symptoms or disease in the body, what you need to do with a functional approach is you go back to what's the root cause. So you look at how the body normally functions, and the body naturally wants to heal itself. If it has the right tools and there's no interference, the body will heal itself, right? So if you cut yourself, that wound will heal if it's not interfered with. Now, if you keep picking the scab, it's not going to heal. And if your body doesn't have the right nutrients to support the healing, it's not going to heal. Well, that's what you do with a functional approach. You look at, for instance, why someone can't sleep. You don't just give a drug to knock someone out when they can't sleep. You say, why can't they sleep? So sleep is very multifactorial. So you look to uncover the root causes of why they can't sleep. Number one would be, is there a cortisol problem? Cortisol is your stress hormone. It regulates your sleep-wake cycle, your weight. It has everything to do with your mood and your immune system function, whether you get sick or not, whether you get cancer or not. So you look at what's the cortisol doing, and you do salivary testing to look at what the levels do throughout the day. With sleep, insulin is very important. That's another hormone. Many people know that it regulates your blood sugar. Well, it can also affect your sleep. You look at the sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. Those are all important for sleep. You look at levels of toxicity, which are important for sleep. So you look at all the root causes of things, of how your body functions, the physiology, the biochemistry, to go into giving you good, sound, solid, restorative sleep. And then once you identify the problems, they too have their causes. Well, if someone has a cortisol problem that's causing them to wake up at 1 a.m. every day, every night, Why do they have a cortisol problem? And then you uncover that. If they have a sex hormone problem, like their progesterone is low, that's a common cause of sleep disturbance. Why is the progesterone low? And then instead of just giving a drug to knock someone out, because that only eliminates the symptom, it doesn't fix the reason why you have the symptom. And symptoms are your body's way of sending you little emails saying, hey, I can't sleep. I've got a problem that's causing me not to be able to sleep. And it doesn't mean you have a deficiency of Ambien. It means that your body's trying to communicate to you something's wrong. And so when you uncover the reason why someone has a problem sleeping, then you can address the reasons why. And it doesn't usually require a drug. You can use natural treatments, vitamins, minerals, herbs, botanicals, homeopathics. I have a huge toolkit, more than just a drug you get at the pharmacy. And then not only does that symptom improve, but health improves overall, because whether you realize it or not, all the symptoms that a person has are related to the same root cause dysfunctions. And most of us don't realize that. We think, oh, I have high blood pressure because my mother had high blood pressure, and I have psoriasis. My grandmother had that, and I have it too. And we think it's largely genetic, and we don't connect the two because we go to the dermatologist for the psoriasis, and then we go to our internist for the high blood pressure. But the truth is, that's just mainstream medicine is looking at the leaves and branches on the tree. So you go to the dermatologist for skin problem branch, and you go to gastroenterologist for GI problem branch, gynecologist for that branch. But the truth is that all of those branches and leaves are connected by the same root causes. If you go down the trunk of the tree into the roots, the same root causes: nutritional deficiencies, toxicities interfering with healing, and that's inflammation, hormone imbalances, like we talked about, cortisol. It could be insulin, thyroid, sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. All of those root causes cause all of those leaf and branch problems. So when you go down and ask why somebody can't sleep, and you discover, oh, they have a progesterone imbalance, they have a cortisol imbalance, they've got a high level of toxicity, and you start fixing those naturally, all of the leaves and branches start improving. And it's amazing because you'll be working with someone who comes to you for their sleep problem, and then they say, oh my gosh, my skin problem cleared up, my hair's growing better, I have a better sex drive. Yes, because all of these things are related. So your question is right on point, Gayle. It seems like, and we're taught to believe that doctors who are certified by their board and their specialty know more about health. But unfortunately, because of the way our healthcare system is structured, it really has become about symptom management with drugs and surgery. And it's about the control of disease and symptoms and not the promotion of health. And so what I discovered is all the information that I knew from the beginning, and every doctor knows. And it's not like we're all well-meaning people and we want to help other people. That's why we go into medicine. So I don't fault doctors. We're just doing what we are taught. But the problem is that at some point we stop asking, does this make sense? And we kind of abdicate our own locus of control and wisdom to the people who teach us in residency. And so they say, don't worry about that. Just do what I do because that's how you do it. And we look at the pharmaceutical double-blind placebo-controlled studies, and we just give the drugs that are proven to work. And then as patients, we're also taught that health becomes the elimination of symptoms. And we stop thinking as human beings, that cut on my hand heals itself. Oh, that force also works in the rest of my body. Why isn't it working? What's involved that's interfering? Or why doesn't my body have the tools to heal? So we've all been really trained in this, what I call religion of medicine. It really is a religion because it's a belief system that is modern medicine, and we have abdicated our power and our wisdom to a system that really isn't working, and that's why it's gotten so out of control with expenses. And you can see I'm very passionate about this, and I want to give you the opportunity to ask questions. But that was a great question, Gayle.
Well, it's amazing to me, and you kind of addressed it, at the very end of, you were taught all of these things in the beginning. And then as you went into further study, into a specialization, it was really narrowed down to this is what you do to solve this issue, and this is what you prescribe, rather than looking at the entire body. And so, but I want to go back to what I did introduce you with and ask you a question, and maybe it's too personal to answer, but you're a smart woman and you are an accomplished woman, and you were 243 pounds. Now, how and why did you get there, number one? And why and how did you not recognize that that was an issue with some of the problems you were having?
Oh, I knew it was an issue. And I had tried by all the quote unquote standard means to lose weight. I had tried exercising. I had tried cutting my calories. I had tried diet pills, every kind of diet pill. So I had been taught that your weight equals calories in minus calories out, that your body is a bank account and your weight simply equals the balance between the two. And it didn't work for me. I would have success maybe with some areas because you can push it. If you starve yourself, you can force your body to lose weight, which gastric bypass is just forced starvation. But the truth that I learned is that all calories are not created equal. Your body is not a bank account. It is a complex biochemical equation. And so weight is about so much more than calories in, calories out. And so you've got to look at what signals are the body cells getting from hormones. Hormones are the communicators that give signals to your cells that tell them what to do with calories. Burn them and get rid of them, or store them as fat. And so you can work out and you can cut what you eat, but if your hormones are unbalanced, your cells are going to get the signal you need to hold on to every calorie and store it as fat, right? Whether it's your insulin, cortisol, thyroid, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, those are the main metabolic drivers. So you have to balance those hormones. And, if you're maybe 20 and you haven't had accrued so many imbalances in your hormone system yet, maybe, you can just cut down what you eat and increase your exercise and lose the weight. But by the time most women hit menopause, I call menopause the straw that broke the camel's back. You've accrued so many imbalances that here comes menopause, which is like that straw, and the camel just goes, forget it, and you can't lose the weight. And the same is true for other imbalances, toxicity and nutritional deficiency. So we accrue this as we go on. And what I was taught as a mainstream physician is your body takes care of all the toxicity and gets rid of it itself. You don't need to help it. And you get all the nutrients that you need from your diet, and those are sufficient. And what I learned when I became fellowship trained in functional medicine is that that is not true. We are inundated with toxicity in our daily life. 85,000 new chemicals introduced into the environment since the Industrial Revolution. The average person has traces of 400 toxic chemicals in his or her body. Our body does not have the ability to get rid of the toxicity levels that we're seeing. And so if you don't do something to assist your body in actively getting rid of these toxins on a continuous basis, or at least monthly or quarterly, they are building up. And your body knows that you will get very sick if you're exposed to all of these toxins at the same time. So what it does is it puts it in storage. Just like when you have too much junk in your house, what do? You put it in storage. Your body does that too. Well, where does it put in storage? In fat. So you're trying to diet, you're trying to exercise, you're not losing weight, or you lose it and you regain it. One of the reasons why is not only hormone imbalance and the signals the cells are getting, but also toxicity that your body is storing in fat tissue. And then you're trying to send the signals, open the fat cells, take the fat out, burn it, get rid of it. And your body says, no, can't go there because I know you're going to get sick. And this is why you see some people who have gastric bypass, they often get very ill in the first few months and years after they have gastric bypass. And then the other issue is that all of these toxicities use up our nutritional resources. So the RDAs that were created in the 1950s for nutrients and recommended daily allowances are wholly inadequate to replace our daily needs. It takes magnesium and B vitamins and all these nutrients in order to process these toxins and get rid of them. It takes nutrients to create cortisol, your stress hormone, to help your body handle stress. And so you cannot eat your way into adequate nutrition in this day and age. You just can't. So if you're not supplementing on a regular basis, your body's working at a deficit, and then it doesn't have the tools to open that fat cell and burn that fat for fuel and get rid of it. There are certain nutrients that you have to have. And so that is, I'm smart. And I also did what I was taught, and I was told, don't worry about that Krebs cycle you learned about in med school and how your body makes energy and ATP. Don't worry about how the body burns fat and that there could be toxins interfering or nutrient deficiencies. And the party line in mainstream medicine really is that diet and exercise, right? It's our fault. That's what we're told. Weight gain is our fault, but it's not your fault because you don't know all these other things. So once I knew better, I did better, like Oprah says. And then it really helped me not only to help myself, but to open up and help all my patients too.
Wow. Well, that's an enlightenment for a lot of our listeners. I know it was an enlightenment for me because I am one of those people that think about calories in, calories out. Of course, I exercise a lot, so I know exercise is for inches. I know dieting is for pounds, but I often look at people in my gym class and say, well, I know they're working out really hard. I see them, but they never change. So now I've got another tool in my little toolbox to kind of talk to them about. Well, we have about 4 minutes left, Kyrin, and I want to ask you a couple of things. Number one, I don't know if you have a gift for anybody that you'd like to mention. Also, if you have any suggestions in this current pandemic that we're going through as to how people should handle some of these challenges.
Sure. Well, I have a meditation for brilliant hormone balance I would love to share with people. It helps to balance that cortisol stress hormone, and I think it's pertinent for this time that we're going through. Do you want me to give the link or?
Yes, I want you to tell them your website. I want them to tell them how to reach you. I want you to tell them where they can find this meditation, all of that.
Okay, great. So I will give that information and then I'll talk about what to do to kind of keep yourself in tip-top shape currently. So the meditation for hormone balance, you can get at http://bit.ly/brilliant hormones. So one more time, http://bit.ly/brilliant hormones. And my website is www.KyrinDunstonMD, and that's spelled KYRINDUNSTONMD.com. And I think what's important to remember with what we're all going through right now is that we are okay right here, right now, and we can take action to control what we can control and then have faith and hope and support each other for the rest and what we can't control. And there is so much that we can control. Number one, we can control whether we come into contact with the virus or not to a great degree. So that means taking seriously whether you're on quarantine or social distancing, whatever it is. So staying away from potential of being infected. And then if you do come in contact with people, staying 6 feet away, using hand sanitizer, not coughing or sneezing directly into the air, using your elbow, and using sanitizer to clean things if you do touch a handrail or a doorknob or some of these high traffic areas, because the virus is going to be here. It's not like we're going to eradicate it. So it's how do we learn how to live healthily and resiliently in this new environment? So one is to protect yourself from getting it. And two is to make your health the best it can be so that you are resilient. So that if you are inoculated, meaning say someone with it sneezes on you and you could get sick, you might not, because if your health is at a high level and you have good health resilience, usually that means your cortisol, your stress hormone, is really robust. You're not necessarily going to get sick just because you were inoculated. And then if you do get sick and you have good resilience and robustness,
we've only got about 10 seconds left.
Got it. Then you will have more likely have mild illness and recover easily, which is what's going to happen for the large majority of us. So
fantastic. Well, my guest has been Kyrin Dunston. Her website is Kyrin Dunston, MD, and it's Kyrin Dunston, Dunston, MD.com. Go there for her gift on meditation. And folks, just to let you know, I've started a new Facebook group for SOBs. If you're over 50, it's called it's SOB Virtual. I should say it's facebook.com/groups/virtual SOB club. So hope to see some of you there. And Kyrin, thanks so much for being with us. You've been a big help in explaining everything to our listeners in terms of how their bodies work. So thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you so much for having me, Gayle.
You've had the opportunity to get to know me over the last few years, and I'd like to get to know you as well. One of the things I'm offering is training for the media. I have a wonderful program that will get you ready for any radio or TV interview you might be offered. Many of you are doing wonderful things, but no one knows about them. Others of you are successful and wonder what's next. Whether you're in a business or have a special cause or a specific event you're promoting, media can help, and I can help you master your message so you can master the media. If this sounds interesting to you, email me at gailcarson13@gmail.com with media training in the subject line. I promise I will be in touch. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. I choose my guests carefully, so if you have someone you'd like me to interview, please drop me a line at gailcarson13@gmail.com. In the meantime, check out my intro program, Mindset Matters, at www.sobmindset.com. See you next week.